Today we went to Dark Star. So this is John Carpenter's first film.
It's a student film.
It's one of the most impressive student films you're going to see. And also he worked on it with Dan O'Bannon, who's not only stars in it, but he went on to create Alien, which, if you know me, it's a little bit of a favourite of mine. I had never seen Dark Star before we went into watching this one, and I quite enjoyed chunks of it.
It's a student film that was originally shorter, and then when it was released as a feature, it was padded, and it really feels padded.
That was the bits that I didn't like.
I do find it a little bit slow.
Very slow in parts and very meandering.
The story was that, so it was like something like 40 minutes or something, I think, originally, and then it was padded out to feature length. And then when a producer picked it up to release it, he demanded a lot of cuts of the original film, but then reshooting more stuff on 35mm to bring it back up to feature length again. So it was changed and padded, and it does feel like it, unfortunately. But I think Dan O'Bannon said that they had... Originally, it was the world's greatest student film.
It was the world's greatest student film, and then it made a very unprofessional-looking feature film.
The worst professional film.
Yeah.
Between 1970 and 1972 was when they originally made it. And then it got an initial release in 74, and I think a slightly wider release in 75. So it's all pre-Star Wars, and it's after 2001.
Dan went on to write Alien. You can see a lot of the beginnings of Alien in this. The workers in space, just some of the set design.
The famous scene in this that everyone would know if you've seen it is the beach ball alien.
Yeah, we're going to get to the
that
beach ball alien.
Was apparently what turned into Alien, because it wasn't as funny as he thought it was, or people didn't respond as well to it. So he thought, well, if I can't make them laugh, I'll try and scare them, and then that became Alien.
This is billed as a comedy. And for a comedy, I didn't laugh once. But
I can see humour in it. It's got some humour. There are some funny bits. Like it actually reminds me in parts of Red Dwarf. The original radio play was a parody of Alien, which in turn came from Dark Star. And then when they thought the idea for Red Dwarf, the radio play, would make a good TV show, the film of Dark Star actually influenced them in that. Because there's things like when they're talking to the bomb, it was very Red Dwarf. That reminded me of the sort of humour in Red Dwarf.
Sergeant Pinback calling bomb number 19. Do you read me, bomb?
Bomb number 19 to Sergeant Pinback. I read you. Continue.
Well, the crew's job is to fly from system to system and destroy rogue planets, unstable planets.
Unstable planets for
with
colonisation.
Bombs that are self-aware.
Yeah.
They talk to the bombs because they have AI in them, and they're generally pleasant. But it's a very cool 70s beady film. The things like in the sets, like at the moment we're looking at the bridge, the buttons are ice cube trays turned upside down with light shining through them. I mean, this is a great example of what you can do on a very shoestring budget. None of everything needs to look like $1 million. No.
The opening credit music is great. It's the country song.
It comes up, music by John Carpenter, and it's like, oh, okay, this is a bit out of its own. And then the synth starts, and you go, there it is.
It's so distinctively John Carpenter's synth music.
Ron Cobb also worked on this.
There's a few names.
There's a few names in here that went on to much bigger things. I like the little dome at the top. The only thing was, though, I thought he needed like a bong. What even is that dude's job? Like,
I don't know what his job is or why he's in the dome, but he just prefers to be up there by himself.
And look out into space.
They've been in space on this mission for 20 years.
Yeah, and they've only aged 3.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, relativity. Long before Interstellar came along and went, oh, no, we're going to be realistic. But it's that cool lo-fi, and I'm going back to Alien, cool lo-fi sci-fi. Big buttons, screens. I wish my computer sounded like that instead of just a loud fan.
Originally, this film wasn't really received that well.
No, it grew.
It's grown on the home video release, on VHS, DVD.
VHS exploded. Before VHS, if you didn't see something in a theatre, you didn't see it. They weren't home movies.
Because this was re-released several times, I think in the late 70s and then 81. By then, VHS was taking off.
And then once video came along...
Oh, yeah. That's...
Cult films were created.
Or smoking inside this spaceship.
Yep. It's the 70s. And you can see James Cameron went, "Excuse me, I think I might steal that."
There's Dan O'Bannon.
So that's Dan. He and Ronald Sushett went on to create Star Beast, which became Alien.
He likes playing practical jokes on people.
Yeah.
It definitely has a charm to it, this film. Like, when I first watched it, it was a bit tedious, but then going through it again to remind myself of it, it's like, it's actually...
I found it got better as it went along. It did, I mean, as you say, it has a lot of padding, and it feels it that way.
The scene with the beach ball alien goes on for a long...
It goes on forever. Forever. But it's a great example of low budget. I mean, the alien is a beach ball with a few claws stuck to the bottom of it and some spots airsprayed onto it. And then it leads on to a chase through the ship as it's all sorts of tomfoolery.
Yeah.
And it leads to him being stuck in the bottom of an elevator. And the whole thing is shot like it's looking up the lift shaft, but it was actually shot perspective, like it was shot down a corridor because it was the easiest way to do it. And it works.
He's not the best actor, really.
No.
But I guess that's how student films go. You just...
Use what you can.
You know, it's like if you start a film review channel or something, you don't hire proper presenters. You just get whoever's available.
You just say, I can do this. And everyone's really nice to you and says you do a great job.
Yeah. The bit when he's doing, Dan O'Bannon as Pinback is doing his little diary entries, or watching his diary entries back with this great technology of the
8-track.
The bit when he first comes up, because apparently he's actually someone else. He's not actually.
Yeah, it just throws out that he wasn't meant to be on this.
I want to go back to Earth. Yeah. But that bit actually was the best acting in it from him. He's actually really good at it.
This statement is for posterity. I just want to say that I am not Sergeant Pinback. My real name is Bill Frug, and I am a fuel maintenance technician. I've been on this mission now for 1 year and 3 months. Pinback's uniforms do not fit me. The underwear is too loose. I do not belong on this mission, and I want to return to Earth.
The spacesuit design in this, apart from the fact that's a muffin tray on his chest.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Maybe SpaceX could have a look at this.
Yeah, forget this slick shit. That's what astronauts should look like.
3, 2, 1, drop.
Negative drop.
The shots in the cockpit.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Stuff.
It's such a cramped little cockpit.
Very cramped little cockpit.
So they seem to have plenty of room in the rest of the ship.
Oh, the ship's computer's got this massive room.
Yeah, and they've got big corridors, and yet the cockpit's this tiny little...
They're crammed in there.
And then they ask the advice of their...
former commander.
Now deceased commander.
Yeah.
He's the one who died because the chair was electrified.
The chair was electrified. But...
And he's frozen, and somehow he can still communicate.
Commander Powell, this is Doolittle. Can you hear me?
Doolittle, what the hell are you doing?
So in the final act of this, the bomb gets jammed.
Bomb number 20.
Which every now and then keeps coming out.
Well, because the laser that was monitoring the mechanism was faulty. So the bomb kept on getting a message to actually drop. But then the computer said, no, it's wrong. Go back in. It's a false alarm.
Ship's computer calling bomb number 20. You're out of the bomb bay again.
I received the signal to prepare for a drop again.
But I repeat, this is not a bomb run.
Nevertheless, I received the signal.
He finally gets the message to drop, but it's gone wrong and he won't drop.
So they go out and have an existential discussion.
Well, he's malfunctioned, so he won't actually be released, this bomb, but he's still going to explode. It's still his job to explode. So Doolittle goes out to reason with it, and...
They have an existential discussion about what it means to be a bomb.
Are you willing to entertain a few concepts?
I am always receptive to suggestions.
Fine. Think about this then. How do you know you exist?
And so the bomb decides to not explode.
This was actually my favourite bit in the whole film. And they talk the bomb down. But once it gets back in the ship, it has a moment where they're talking to it and it's like, oh, you're all fake, and explodes anyway.
Let there be light.
two of them are in the ship when the ship gets destroyed, but two of them are outside.
Well, earlier on, Talby had been talking about how he wanted to see the Phoenix Comet.
If we're going into the Veil Nebula, we may actually find a strange and beautiful thing. The Phoenix asteroids.
While he's floating in space after the destruction of the Star, the Phoenix Comet comes along and he ends up becoming part of it. And the last you see of him, he's going off into space going, I'm going to travel the cosmos forever.
I'm beginning to glow. They're taking me with them, with the Phoenix. Gonna circle the universe forever.
Doolittle, who misses surfing, decides to surf into the atmosphere of the planet they're over.
A bit of the wreckage from the ship.
And dies of shooting star. It was such a cool ending.
Without the padding, if you took all the bits that were relevant to this ending, like at the start he's talking about the surfing, and there's mentioning of the the comet in the middle.
If you cut it back to 40 minutes.
If you did cut it back down and having this ending, it would be a really great little film.
Do you think they were on a lot of acid back when they made this?
Well, they were students. It does really show, John Carpenter's career has been famous for really great low-budget films.
And when they gave him a big budget, we get Escape from LA.
Don't give me that kind of bull.
Who would you recommend would watch Dark Star?
I think a younger person today probably wouldn't be into this. Unless you're into films.
I would say maybe a film student type.
Filmmaking, definitely. If you really like the polished films of today, then this is not going to appeal. But if you're a film student, film buff, film history.
But if you're into low-budget filmmaking, if you're into short films, if you know these guys' careers, this is something that you should definitely take a look at. And if you're an Alien fan, sit there like I did and going, oh, that's where they got it. That's where they got it. Yeah, that's
because it's very different from Alien as far as the tone and it's very fascinating that Alien came from it, and it's such an amazing film. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Although Alien had a much better monster design. So that's Dark Star.
Yep, Dark Star. So early John Carpenter, his beginnings, and it's a good place to start because it's where modern filmmaking sort of emerged in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and what we watch today is influenced by this sort of thing. So it's good to go back and have a look.
If that nugget of VHS gold puts you into orbit, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click notifications so you can know when our next one blasts off.